holy self abides in you, God's Son. My holy self abides in you, God's Son. Father, you gave me all your sons to be my saviors and my counsel, the bearers of your holy voice to me. In them are you reflected, in them are you reflected. My holy self abides in you, God's Son. My holy self abides in you, God's Son, God's Son. Lesson 266 from A Course in Miracles. My holy self abides in you, God's Son. Father, you gave me all your sons to be my saviors and my counselors in sight, the bearers of your holy voice to me. In them are you reflected, and in them does Christ look back upon me from myself. Let not your Son forget your holy name. Let not your Son forget his holy source. Let not your Son forget his name is yours. This day we enter into paradise, calling upon God's name and on our own, acknowledging ourself in each of us, united in the holy love of God. How many saviors God has given us? How can we lose the way to him when he has filled the world with those who point to him and given us the sight to look on them? My holy self abides in you, God's Son. My holy sight abides in you, God's Son. Father, you gave me all your sons to be my saviors and my counsel, the bearers of your holy voice to me. In them are you reflected, in them are you reflected. My holy self abides in you, God's Son. My holy voice abides in you, God's Son. And now for the reflection on Lesson 266. What a beautiful, beautiful lesson this is. My holy self abides in you, God's Son. In other words, my truth, the holiness within me, abides in everyone that I perceive, if I would but see it. If I would but acknowledge it, I am but acknowledging the truth within myself. How could it be any other way? For me to acknowledge sin, for me to acknowledge guilt, is to acknowledge sin and guilt within me. For me to acknowledge the truth, holiness, grace, peace, light in you or in anyone that I perceive, to bless only that, is to see as God sees, to see through Christ's vision, to know what is true, which is all that God does, knows what is true. And then we know that God's name is our own. We call upon God's name, which is our own name, the I am consciousness. I am that. Ehyeh asher ehyeh. The name that was given to Moses at the burning bush. I call upon that name today. I am that in everything I see. I am that holiness or I am that sin. Which choice will I make? For my life will reflect that choice. Today I choose holiness over guilt. Why? Because my holy self abides in you, all of God's sons, right now.